What's happening, guys? Gemma here and back again for another video. I hope you guys are having an awesome Saturday. But I want to talk about something that I've been incredibly passionate about since the 8-bit days. That is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise. This game in particular, Mutants in Manhattan. I want to talk about whether or not is it shit and whether or not you guys should actually be ploughing your hard-earned cash into it. Let's take a look. So as I said in the introduction there, guys, I've been with this franchise since the 8-bit days, and I've really enjoyed it. There have been some highs, there have been some lows, but I personally feel there have been a lot more highs with this franchise than lows. Now we're stepping onto the current generation consoles. A couple of things I want to say. I'm going to start off with things that I really don't like about the game first. I really want to get that out of the way. And second thing I want to talk about is price. A lot of people out there are saying it's not worth £40, which is about $55, maybe even $60 in the US. I paid $32 for this. I'm starting to feel I paid a little bit too much for it. I think £20 would have been a great price to pay down the line. Now, first thing I noticed was when I watched the trailers, I thought it looked fantastic. I really like the cell shading stuff. And I do think the game holds true to the trailers. It does look fantastic. But what the trailers didn't show, what I found in the game, is a lot of the levels get incredibly monotonous and very what I would class as cookie cutter. Now, I read something about, I think it was a GameSpot review, and people said, what do you mean the rooftops look boring? And I thought the same thing. I thought, yeah, you know, what's all that about? When I played the first level, you're in Manhattan, you're on the streets and you're on the rooftops, and the rooftops do look very kind of, again, cookie cutter. It almost looks as though if you were to take a bird's eye view, they've lifted buildings up and just span it around and dropped it again, and it's very kind of basic shape shifting. And it was very bland. Even though the textures do look very nice within the cell shading, the environments themselves can seem very bland, and that to me was a massive letdown. It almost made me feel as though this game was targeted. The target audience weren't the 30-year-olds like me and you guys. It was the little kids, you know, the 5 to 6-year-olds that probably watch this now on Nickelodeon or whatever. Which is fine, which is absolutely fine, but for the die-hard fans that have grown up on this, I was expecting a little bit more. Now, flipping that round slightly, yes, it can seem a little bit childish at times, but I think they've tried to bring that arcade feel into it, and it doesn't really work for me. It doesn't really work for me. So, little gripe, yes, levels can be incredibly monotonous, very cookie cutter, shape type environments, details and aesthetics, and unfortunately definitely not aimed at people like, you know, me, 30 and upwards. So that's my first gripe. Second gripe, and it's a big one, guys, there's no couch co-op, there's multiplayer co-op only. But if you go through the single player campaign, you can flick between each of the 4 turtles, which is nice, but I would have expected that anyway. Coming onto current generation, it would have been pretty one-dimensional to just, you know, pick Michelangelo and play through with Michelangelo. So you can intertwine between the different characters, which we'll talk about, but there's no couch co-op. And again, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is about couch co-op. The arcade version of any Turtles game is that 4-player, the kids standing round, 4 players putting their quarters in or 10 pences and playing, and there's none of that. And I was like, fucking hell, why would you not do that? Maybe it'll come out, maybe God knows, maybe the next game will have it, I don't know, but that is a shame. Everything these days seems to be focused so heavily on multiplayer experiences online and not the kind of nuts and bolts, sit down on your couch, play with your brother or your friend or whatever, or your kid, you know. So that's a darn friggin' shame. So again, that's my biggest gripe. So 2 things, monotony, cookie cutter kind of stuff, and no bloody couch co-op. So what is good about this game then? I've said the cell shading looks incredibly immense, or at least in my opinion anyway. I really like the kind of RPG elements. You can update your kind of ninjutsu. Each turtle has separate ninjutsu, 4 ninjutsu kind of powers that you can activate, and they have a kind of recharge time, which is absolutely great. And then as you progress, you can unlock different ninjutsu points. You can tailor the 4 that you go into the game with, and I really, really like that. And it's nice because obviously you've got 4 turtles, and you can have different powers for different turtles. So there's a lot of variety. A lot of variety. Voice acting's always been a big one for me. I think, I'm kind of on the fence with the voice acting with the turtles and Splinter. It's either really, really great for me, or they really, really just completely, oh my god, honestly. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I want to know what you guys think. Do you like the voice acting in it? Because, again, grown up with this, I'm looking for all these details. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that's something that I'm really looking for. What else can we say? You know what, for me, I would say, if you were to score, and I don't score games, I'm not a massive fan of scoring them, but to put some context to this, I think any great game would be 8 and above. This is not an 8 and above. This is a 6.9 for me. This is a good game. It is not worth £40. It is not worth the $32 I paid for it. When this drops to 25 and below, go out and grab it. You have to try it. It's not very long either, unfortunately, but who knows, we may see some DLC to bolt on, to tack onto the experience. Fingers crossed. 6.9, not worth the money, but nonetheless, it's definitely not shit. So there we go, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. Thank you very much for all of your support. It means a lot to me. Come over to Twitter, tweet me and drop me a like on my Facebook group. But for now, I'll be back tomorrow with an awesome, I want to just plug this right now, fucking awesome pickups video. My name's Jeva. Have an awesome day. Take care. See you soon.